Hey, it's Jane with Pivot. Got a new feature to show you that I think you're going to be excited about because we were pretty excited over here at Pivot when we saw this one come into our portal. It's the Lifecycle Stage Management Tool. So most of you know that life cycles has been kind of a love-hate relationship. It's so great to be able to get full funnel reporting and see how well things are converting, but we couldn't change any of the default stages. So if they didn't align with our sales process, you had to do things like create a custom property to capture that, and then it became all kinds of messy when you had to create workflows and do custom reporting. So this is a very exciting development that is going to save a lot of time and give us better reporting. So when you think about life cycle stages and making any changes, now that you're able to, it's a great opportunity to sit down with all the people that would be impacted by life cycle stages and make sure that everybody's in alignment of what stages you should have, how you're defining them, what triggers contact to move from one stage to the other, and who's responsible for each stage. So we do have a little worksheet that can help with that kind of planning and documenting before you go into the tool. If you'd like to get this, just shoot me an email or hit me up on Twitter. I'm happy to share it with you. This has some of the default stages already in there, but you can see it's just a great blueprint of what should happen, what the definitions are. It gets everybody on the same page, I should say. And this was interesting. I'm going to point this out because I don't know of anyone who's using Evangelist the way it was intended. It often becomes kind of the dumping ground for employees, for partners, for people you would never sell to. That Evangelist and Other are the two that typically get used for that. Now that you can create custom lifecycle stages, you might think about using Evangelist as it was intended. And that is to mark a stage that comes after they become a customer and when they become an advocate for you. Because customers can be just such a great source, not only of repeat business, but referral business. They can write reviews for you. And this is a stage that helps you track how well you're engaging with your customers. And think about that HubSpot flywheel where delight is the stage that comes after somebody becomes a customer. If we're delighting them, then they become a great source for sending people back in at the top of our funnel again. So it'll be really interesting and exciting to be able to use this as it was intended. You know, I saw an email from Gartner the other day that was talking about how CMOs now are starting to reimagine their position and focusing much, much more on the customer experience. So definitely something to take a look at of whether using Evangelist could be useful to you, because right there it's the marketing and sales team that can really benefit from a strong relationship with customers. Okay, so back over into the tool. You will find the lifecycle management tool under settings. You can click on the little gear, get to settings, come over. It's under data management over here on the left, then objects, contacts. Once you click into that, you're going to see it. It's got the little green tag that tells you it's new. The first time you go into it, it's going to have a little quick tour. So it'll show you some of the different areas of this tool. We're going to scroll down here to the bottom. These are the default lifecycle stages that we've all had for years. Important to note that if this lifecycle stage is being used, it'll show up right here. If you want to delete one of these stages, you must get this number down to 0. So for example, for a lot of our clients, sales qualified lead and opportunity are interchangeable, and they probably would prefer to just have one. Before you can delete sales qualified lead, click on the number and see what you need to resolve. This will take you to a list of all the contacts that have sales qualified lead as their lifecycle stage. That makes it really easy to do a bulk edit and change that lifecycle stage to opportunity. Then you've knocked all those off. The workflows, this means that stage is probably being used as an enrollment criteria, or it's a workflow that is set up to set the stage to sales qualified leads. So you'll need to change those. Once you've done that and you get that number down to 0, you'll be able to delete that stage. A couple other things to think about we've always wanted to add a stage before subscriber because most of the instances that we deal with, they have contacts in the CRM that really haven't taken any sort of activity. It'd be great just to label them as contacts or prospects or whatever makes sense based on how your sales process runs. Another one that could be really useful to a lot of people is to add in a stage before that sales qualified lead or opportunity. That's called sales accepted lead. That's a pretty common one that you find in sales processes, particularly if you have an inside sales team. So inside sales, SDR, LDR team, they're the ones that typically will work that lead that comes in from marketing, that marketing qualified lead. And it's great to be able to track and measure the percentage of marketing qualified leads that actually get accepted by the sales team, where this inside salesperson says, hey, yeah, that looks like a great lead to us. We're going to work it. Because if that number is really low, if only about 10% of your marketing qualified leads are actually being accepted by the sales team to work, and that's before we know if there's any pipeline. That just means that, hey, yeah, they do look like a great fit. We do want to pursue them. That's really valuable information to have, because if it's super low, then maybe your criteria for someone becoming a marketing qualified lead is too loose, and you might want to tighten that up, make it a little bit harder for someone to become a qualified lead. It could also be an indication that maybe there's an opportunity to improve how that inside sales team is working with those leads. So great data that we haven't really been able to easily track before, but by adding in a stage, now we can. So I think this is a great improvement. If you have any questions, you want to talk to us about your life cycle stages, you know how to get a hold of us. We'd love to talk to you. Thanks.